Hello? First up, we have Dwayne Packard with Rev. On deck is Cappy Puit with Reba. And in the hole is John Hullman with Meg.
Okay, get your stopwatch ready.
So it's not so confusing. As the cattle move towards the obstacle, I will explain how this course is set up.
Hello. Hey, James.
All right, the cattle are set out, and the first obstacle is to go around the pin.
For some reason, Daryl thought they were supposed to go today, and then I couldn't remember.
And they have to enter on this side of the pin
So Saturday, they're leaving this afternoon.
and exit that side. Right there, they got the 3 points.
Timeline.
The next obstacle is between the barrel and the pin. The handler can move about in his little square over there in the corner. He can assist his dog as much or as little as he would like.
Okay, so we got 15 on there and a timeline.
Wait, what?
15 on number 1.
Okay.
And write down your timeline. Okay.
Yeah, it's 5 points.
Right now the cattle are hung up. The dog is kind of blocking the exit. There we go. Now the dog and handler are working together. So the cattle do have to go between that barrel and the pin. Was it the handlers meeting this morning? And I believe it is 7 minutes. I'll have to double check that. 7 minutes, 8 obstacles. And this dog is having a hard time getting him out of that corner. Just keeps taking the wrong command on that. There he goes. Now he's back. And he's going to go ahead and call his dog off. He is done.
9 minutes or 8 minutes.
He's calling it?
Yeah, he's calling. She knows.
And then every little bit we gotta update them on our plan.
Okay. Do you want me to announce who's next?
Yes, please.
Up next, we have Cappy Puit with Reba. On deck, John Hullman with Meg. And in the hole, Kent Herbal with Dodge.
Cappy has put a lot of time and effort into helping put this trial on. So if you guys see Cappy or know Cappy, please thank him for this. It has been cold, hard, and a long week getting this ready, and he's done a great job. So he's sent for his cows. The first obstacle, he has to go around the pin. So they do have to enter on this side of the pin. Cows are traveling very nice right around the pin. So right there, he's got all 3 through, all 15 points on that first obstacle.
15.
The second obstacle, he does have to go between the light blue barrel and the pin.
And if you guys would tell each other what you have
They
to
can
find,
help
write down the same thing. I'd appreciate it.
in that little
32
square box. A handler can.
Do agree.
What was your first one?
2 minutes.
2
minutes?
Obstacle
No,
2 is
20
complete.
seconds?
15 points on
15.
that.
On number 2.
Third obstacle is this Y. Cattle are traveling very nice. Then fourth obstacle is the dark blue barrel. So they have to enter on this side. And the scoring is right there. So he got all 3 cattle. The fifth obstacle is going around the light blue barrel. They have to enter on this side and exit on that side just like that. Very nice. He's right now. All of them have scored. That black, they cannot start another obstacle and score on the next obstacle unless the last obstacle is scored. So we'll have to see what the judge says about that. I do believe that was a rule yesterday, so we'll have to see what the judge says about that. So that black cow that went through, the other 2 cows did not finish the obstacle before he started that obstacle, so we'll have to see what the judge says on that. That might be a different rule today, so I will get a clarification on that today. The last obstacle is, I do apologize, the next obstacle is the pin. Cows have to enter the pin and they get points for the cows in the pin. And then a sort. So they're 2 and 1, and it does not matter if it's 1, 2, 2, 1, doesn't matter as long as it's 2, 1 out of each hole. So the first cow walks in very nicely and the other cows follow. So right there he got his pin points, and now he has to sort. So that one cow is going to walk out very nicely. And he's just going to push those other cows back out. And there it is. He's done.
What you got?
3 minutes and 39 seconds.
I didn't. Mine didn't go over.
You did 3:39.
Yep. 60, 120, 150, 165.
Should be 120.
Wait,
1, 2,
30,
3, 4,
60. Oh, yeah.
1, 2,
Or no.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 15.
120?
Yeah.
Probably.
Bob, you had
That was a time of 3 minutes and 39 seconds with a total of 120 points. Up next, we have John Hullman with Meg. On deck, Kent Herbal with Dodge. And in the hole, Joe Gam with XP Mint. What?
With his last run, we did get clarification. He did get that scored because the score line, I do apologize, I got messed up. It is entered on this side. So when that cow started the obstacle, the other cows had finished that. Hopefully that makes sense on that one. But it is 120 full points.
Oh, okay.
John's got a good start on this dog. The cows know to go around. They do have to enter from this side and exit there. So we got all those points. The next obstacle is between the pin and the blue barrel.
23 seconds.
If you want to just call yours out, if you agree
finish the second obstacle. These cows are working very nicely traveling. They did miss the Y chute, so he's got to bring them back around. Recovered nice.
15 for 3.
The dark blue barrel, they just have to go on the other side of it, so they go between the fence and the dark blue barrel. And that is the line to score on that one. Scored on the next obstacle. These cattle are working very nice, just nice and steady. Through the weave. Now next is the pin. Now the handler can move. Once they get out of the weave, the handler can move anywhere in the arena to assist with his dog. They do have to enter the pin on the other side, right by the blue barrel. There's an entrance there, and they have to enter there. As you can tell, the handler is staying off of the cattle. It seems that the cattle are either overreacting to the handler being near or not acting at all. So the handler was letting his dog handle the cattle, and he was doing a nice job. And there he goes. All three are in, and now all he has to do is shed. So 2 and 1, and it does not matter the order. So he's going to let his dog go ahead and push him back out the other end.
4 minutes and 32 seconds. Did you have 15 on the last two as well?
I'll go and let them do the scoring in the time.
That is a time of 4 minutes and 32 seconds with a total of 120 points. Up next, we have Kent Herbal with Dodge. On deck, Joe Gam with XP Mint. And in the hole, Jeff Meyers with Tate. Is that right?
And if you watched this yesterday, the wind was blowing all day, and it started to snow the last 2 runs. And today, the sun is out on half of the ring, so you can see, and the wind is very light, so that will be a big help for all the handlers and dogs running.
Yeah.
Everything is calm. Kent's dogs had a good run yesterday. Not sure of the placings from yesterday, but Kent will run 2 dogs. This is his first one today. Full score is 120 points, 7 minutes. And on this is as well as yesterday, you only have to have 1 cattle go through the obstacle to move on. So if you get 1 through an obstacle and the other ones aren't going to follow and they're not paying attention, you can go ahead and move on to the next obstacle. You just have to let the judge know. So you'll have to call it to clarify that you're just moving on. You just want to take whatever points you can get. He's got a nice set of cattle just walking slowly through. And the dog got a little stuck there, but he figured his way out.
Okay.
You got to get the cows back together. He spooked 2 of them, so
Yeah.
he's got to get them all back together and red. Third obstacle finish. Now we just got to work on that black barrel. If you guys have any questions about the order of anything, let me know. Write it in the chat and I'll do my best to find the answer and get back to you as soon as. Fourth obstacle he's completed. Now that the 5th obstacle is between the fence and the light blue here. They're in the same direction, but they are 2 different ones. The next one is the weave. And the cows went ahead and just blew past the weave, so he's got to turn them back around and get them facing towards the arena. Now the cows are falling, but the dog did nothing to cause that. These sawdust is really slippery, and these cows try to make a fast turn, and he just slipped. So the dog had no control of what the cows have decided to do at the last minute when they try to make turns like that. So. And he's got him back now. Can't really see in the video, but there they go. There's the weave. I would say the move and assist the dog. In the last run, it showed that the cattle did better when the handler stayed off of the cows and let the dog handle everything. Looks like in this run, the handler is going to assist a little bit more, and it always depends on the dog, the cows. Nicely walk in. So you got the pinpoints for that. Now it's a shed, so he's got to get 1 out. 1 out and 2, and it doesn't matter which direction, anything of that. So he's going to. He just wants to get those 2 out and then get the other one. So the time stops when the last cow exits, the tail end of the cow exits. So this dog's having a hard time even noticing that cow. Oh, there he goes. We are
5
out.
minutes and 5 seconds. That was a time of 5 minutes and 5 seconds with a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Joe Gam with XP Mint. On deck, Jeff Meyers with Tate. And in the hole, Jan Wagner with Zenny.
Now the cattle are working really nice today. This is going to be, hopefully, I shouldn't say this right now, but hopefully this continues on and today will be a success for everybody. Sarah Joe did very nice yesterday. She had 3 dogs, and 2 of her dogs, I believe, placed in the top 5. So she had great success yesterday. So she waits for her cows. Now the handler can stand anywhere in that corner. There's an imaginary line that they cannot cross, but they can move about in that corner all they would like. So the first obstacle is around the pin. Cows are liking to go that direction. So the first obstacle seems to be pretty easy. So they scored right there. Now the next obstacle is between the blue barrel and the pin. So they do have to go between that blue barrel and the pin. Bob and Cappy and anybody that had to help set up the course today decided to put the handlers down in that corner because yesterday they started to get a little sticky wanting to be in that corner, so they wanted it to make it so that the handler could assist the dog in that corner and not get caught up. Which if you're running your dog, you probably appreciate that. There we go. Now she got him facing the direction. They're on the third obstacle. And it looks like we've got 2 in and 1 out. So she can go ahead and take that and move on. And she just waved at the judges. She's going to take that. She's moving on. Sometimes it's a very smart move if your dog's struggling. Young dogs, handlers will do that with the young dogs too. They want the dogs to end on a good note. Now the dog will end up taking those 10 points through this obstacle, but it looks like the dog wanted to give that a retry and make sure that all the cows went through, but unfortunately does not get the 15 points, only gets stuck with the 10. But now you're going to hear handlers use whistles, voice. It's just a discretion on what they want to use. She, with this dog, just uses the voice. Some will use both. It's 7 minutes, if I'm recalling right. I was at the handlers meeting, and for some reason I cannot remember how many minutes, but I believe it's 7. With 8 obstacles. 120 is full points. The cows have entered the right direction, so they do have to enter on this side. The cows have not scored on this obstacle yet. They have not passed the score line. And the dog is now distracted. And the cows are just going to walk off. So the cows did score. And they are working on the other obstacle, and they scored on that obstacle as well. That is the light blue barrel. They are crossing it again, but I do believe they crossed the line. We'll have to see what the judge says, but I believe they did cross the line. And those two blue barrels are two separate obstacles. They're the same direction, but they do have to go. They're two separate. Now next is the weave. And they missed the entrance to the weave, so she's going to try to get him turned around and go the other direction. Sarjo is our 5th handler out. And today we do have 24 dogs running. In the beginning of the week we had a little bit more dogs running and handlers, but with the weather they have canceled. The roads were going to be too bad for traveling. So after we get done with the open, we will be starting the nursery. So it looks like this dog did recover very nice, and they made it into the weave. So once the cattle get out of the weave, then the handler can move about to help the dog in any direction. So they help as much or as little as they want once the cows get out of the weave onto the finals obstacle. One dog, unfortunately, is finding other things to do than to walk up on this cattle. There we go. Back on the cows and doing good. The last cattle out, so now she can move about to help with her dog. The next obstacle is the pin.
8, 7, 6, 5. Okay.
And it does sound like she's going to time out, so
30.
let's see what the final score was.
That was a time of 8 minutes with a total score of 85 points. Up next, we have Jeff Meyers with Tate. On deck is Jan Wagner with Zenny. And in the hole is Becky Combes with Sadie.
All right, I do apologize. I apparently did not go to the handlers meeting at the time. They told us that it was 8 minutes. So it is 8 minutes, 8 obstacles. Jeff will have, I believe, 3 dogs today. Oh, no, I do apologize. Jeff only has, nope, he does have 3 dogs. So Jeff will run 3 dogs. This is one of 3 of his dogs. All right, he waves for the cows. We want to definitely thank all the volunteers that are helping. They did this all day yesterday, and they came back to do it again today. They're handling the cows very well, not getting them excited when they come out. They're doing a nice job. So the first obstacle, looks like the cows are headed the right direction. They got to go around the pen. There's the score line. So it's all 3 of them. The next obstacle is between the barrel and the pin. And this dog sure moves fast. Here we go. We got done the second obstacle. Now on to the third, and looks like everybody's headed. Oh, that one cow missed. So he can go ahead and take. Nope, he's going to retry it. So he's going to retry so that all 3 go through. So now that he's retrying it, he is back to 0 points on the third obstacle. And you see Jeff is using the whistles. Or the whistle, I guess. And all 3, now he scores on all 3 of those. The next obstacle is those blue barrels. It seems to be working out really nice with these 2 barrels. 2 different obstacles. Get them on the fence line and just travel them down. Seems to be the best. They got them all done, and they're going to blow past the weave. So he's got plenty of time. Everything seems to be working real nice for him. Getting the cows to turn back and go back towards the obstacles. There. Kate's reminding these cattle that it's a time event, so a nice little heel bite. The judge is allowing that to happen as long as they're not dragging, harassing the cattle. They can give a little heel bite just to remind the cows that this is a time event. We want you to go this direction really fast. Some of them, they do the heel bite just to let them know that they're standing behind them, especially in a weave. It's nice to have a heel bite when the cattle are in the weave, just to remind the cows that they are behind them and they need to continue moving forward. Works best when you're in an alleyway, working on the ranch, loading cattle. Just like that. There we go. Now Jeff can move around. He can assist his dog as little as much as he would like on these next two obstacles. Jeff is the sixth handler out, and the last handlers, they've just been doing it different. So every bunch of cattle have been different with the handlers helping. A couple of them are the cattle didn't really care if the handler was there, so the handler wasn't doing much. And then, like we saw in the last one, the handler really had to get in there and help. They keep missing that opening there. There, now we've got some oh, I missed it. They do have to enter on that end. And then they get their load points. And on this obstacle as well, if they could get two in and decide to take just those two and sort those two, then they can do that as well. They have to get at least two in. And it does look like he got all three, so he got his pinpoints. Now it's a sort, 2 and 1. He got 2 out, so now he's got to get the other one out on the other end. And once this cow exits tail end, the time stops. Nice job, Jeff.
That was a time of 6 minutes and 10 seconds for a total score of 120 points. Up next, we have Jan Wagner with Zenny. On deck, Becky Combes with Sadie. And in the hole, Bob Wagner with Slink.
Jen is another one we'd like to thank for putting this all together, all the hard work she has put into it. A big thank you because she's brought the coffee and the donuts the last 2 mornings. So she is bundled up and ready to go. First obstacle is complete. And the handler can assist anywhere in that little square. So like Jen went ahead and did, and she just helped her dog push the cows out of that corner. Third obstacle, we've got one cow that is not wanting to move or travel, so the dog's got to go pick that one up. Gather him back up. And the third obstacle is this Y. Fortunately, we just missed it. got them gathered back up, settled just a little bit, let everybody calm down. She's going to try to get her dog to move and stay off. The other thing we've noticed with this morning is that the dog staying off has worked out the best. Let the cattle know that the dog is back there, but not too close. And that, unfortunately, was the dog's fault on that. Just got a little too close and got everybody separated. So the going to try to gather him back up, calm everybody down, and start over. And sometimes dogs do this when they get frustrated when the cows aren't moving and they just want to get the cows to go. Recovery on this would be just gather them up, settle everything down, get everything moving as a team again. And now two of the cows have decided to get inside the pen. So he's got to figure out how to get the cows, these two, out of the pen. Now she's got them, and they're all grouped. And they missed that Y again. We got one that's going to go through. So hopefully if that one goes through, she can take this and move on. So it looks like she's going to go ahead and take that one cow. So she's going to take the 5 points with that and just move on. Now we're working on the fourth obstacle. So they have to go between the dark blue barrel and the fence. So that obstacle is complete. Now that light barrel, the light blue barrel is a separate obstacle. So they have to enter on this side between the fence and the light blue barrel. They have to enter on this side and then exit on the other side. So it's a little square there. They have to enter on this side. So those two barrels are two different obstacles. If you guys have any questions, comments or anything like that, please leave them. Hopefully I will be able to answer them. If I cannot, I will get someone who can so we get your comments answered. There, now she's recovered on this one. So the cattle do have to, this obstacle, the light blue barrel, this one cow's not going to play along. And because that cattle entered on the wrong side, and we'll have to get clarification on that one as well. I will have to ask about that. I think the cows did make the time or the score line, but I'm not sure. Because that one cow entered the wrong side, so it would have made the whole group. Dirty again, but like I said, I'm not sure. The judge is at a different spot, so I don't know how she's going to call that. So that black cow did go through, so she can go ahead and take that point and move on. And the handler is moving around to help her dog, and she can do that once the cows get out of the weave. Well, it looks like the cows are just going to walk into the pen. Jan's going to help on her side and have the dog work on that side. Push them in. So she got her pin points. And sort 2 and 1. She got one out. So And she got her sort points as well. So we'll see what the judge says on that blue barrel, that one obstacle, how she's going to handle that one. Becky is up next. I do apologize I didn't announce her Jan's time. We're going to move on. So Becky is up next. It does look like the cows are going towards the first obstacle very nicely. And around. So Becky can move about in her little square so she can help the cattle if she would like, or help her dog get the cattle out of that corner. Doesn't look like her dog needs any help at all. So she's made it past this second obstacle. The second obstacle is between the pin and the barrel. The third obstacle is the Y. Handling the cattle very quiet. Nice walk. Fourth obstacle is the dark blue barrel. They do have to enter on this side just like that and exit between the fence and the dark blue barrel. And there's the point line, so she's pointed there. Now the next obstacle is that light blue barrel. These are two separate obstacles. She has to enter on this side and exit. So it's handling very nicely. Everything is going very smooth. And then through the weave, she got the dog in the right spot to turn the cows so they can see the opening of the weave. And in they go. Now, once these cows are out of the weave, Becky can assist her dog as much or as little as possible to get him into the pin for the pin points. 8 minutes, 8 obstacles, 120 max points. Looks like it was a smooth walking in there. So she got her pin points. So now she just has to sort 2 and 1. And it doesn't matter how she accomplishes it, just 2 and 1. So she gets, she's going to go ahead and get that one. And she's going to call her dog around to help her with these last 2. Get him out of the corner there. Nice and smooth.
Nice job.
The score from Jan Wagner, which was before this run, was a time of 7 minutes and 18 seconds for a total of 95 points. Becky Combes was a time of 3 minutes and 4 seconds for a full score of 120. Up next, we have Bob Wagner with Slink. On deck, Heather Metz with Kate. And in the hole, Diane Podco with Kai.
Bob is the other one we would like to throw a big thank you out to. He's also in charge of putting on the trial So if you guys see Bob, it's been a hard process just to get this going. If anybody's put on a trial, you understand what I'm talking about. So if you see Bob, thank him for putting on the trial as well. So we're going to send the cows out. He's just going to let the cows drift off. Then he's going to send his dog, which smart move. It looks like it's paying off for him to do that. They have to go around the obstacle first, or around the pin to get the first obstacle out of the way. So now the dog looks like it's confused on what he wants to do. It kind of got in the way of the flow of things, but we corrected it and got it back. So the second obstacle is complete, and now we're moving on to the third obstacle. So he's got to gather the cows back up and restart this next obstacle. And we've made it through the third obstacle. Sometimes the recovery of how the dogs handle things after something goes bad is big in something like this. Is the dog still going to continue to stay worked up, or is it going to be able to calm down, gather everybody back up, slowly move everybody? So recovery is big when the dogs are working out here. Working on the fourth obstacle. The fourth obstacle is that dark blue barrel. So entered incorrectly and out. The next obstacle is the light blue barrel, which we missed that obstacle. So they do have to enter on this side between the light blue barrel and the fence. These are two separate obstacles. All right, so we are starting over on this obstacle. We got to get them facing the other direction. They are on the right side of the blue barrel. And they made it, so that obstacle is complete. Now onto the weave, so he's got to get the dog to stop him. They just missed the opening of that weave. There we are. Now we get into the weave. Now once the cattle get out of the weave, it looks Bob can go ahead and move around and help assist his dog as much or as little as he would like to get them into the pin for the pinpoints. Cattle have got a little bit worked up coming out of that weave. Lie his dog down, settle everything out, and then try this again. And the cattle are moving just a little too fast to stop and see that opening on that end. There we slowed down. Now we see it. And he got his pinpoint, so he's in. Oh, Bob took one too many steps and stopped the cow, so he's got to get that one go again. There we are. He's going to block the other two so he can get them pushed out the other side. Once the last cow's tail exits, it is a time.
That was a time of 4 minutes and 16 seconds with a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Heather Metz with Kate. On deck, Diane Podco with Kai. And in the hole, John Hullman with Moon.
Heather has one dog that she will be running. Yesterday, her dog had some problems getting them pinned, I do believe. I don't really remember her run, but I know that her dog has some troubles getting them pinned, so hopefully today will be better luck. She went ahead and called for her cattle, so they're going to open the gate. You do not have to stand at the blue barrel. You can, as long as you're standing within that little square, handler can stand wherever they want, so she has chosen to stand back. And she's going to go ahead and send her dog. When she sends her dog or the gate shuts, the time stops. So the cows do have to come on this side of the pen. So they have to enter on this side of the pen and exit on that. Heather also reminded me that the mountains are on the west side. So yesterday when I didn't know my directions, Heather reminded me that mountains on the west side. So I can go ahead and use my north, south, east, and west today because she did remind me. So once you're in that box, you can go ahead and help your dog. You just can't step over that line. And it looks like she is helping her dog move the cows out of that corner. Nice slow walk into the third obstacle. Little nice nose bite, no hanging, no dragging. Just let the cows know that they needed to turn around and go the other direction. The fourth obstacle is this dark blue barrel. They have to go on this side of the barrel and exit between the fence and the barrel. It does get frustrating for the dog and the handler both when the cows are not moving. So that dog is doing very well with its patience, keeping everything calm, not jumping in the middle of them, making a mess, just letting the cows know that they need to turn and go the other direction, and then the dog lays back down. And there we got him moving again. This dog isn't getting too aggressive with the cows, just letting them know that they need to turn, they need to stay focused, keep moving.
That was a time of 5 minutes and 4 seconds for a total of 120 points. Up next, we have Diane Podco with Kai. On deck, John Hullman with Moon. And in the hole, Michelle Casteline with Lori.
Well, this is Bob Wagner. I'm replacing Michelle Casteline, who has done a great job, and we really appreciate her doing it, but she's got to go run a dog. So you're stuck with me here for a while. Up now is Diane Podco, who is running a dog named Kai. Diane was unfortunately unable to be here yesterday, so this is her first run at the trial. It's called for her cattle. Cattle have been pretty good today. We've got a high percentage of full scores and a wide range of times. I think the top dog is just over 3 minutes. There's 2 dogs under 4. I'm sure Michelle has explained the course to you well. The cattle have been set out. They have to take the cattle around that circular obstacle there, which is the sword obstacle, and then between that obstacle and the barrel, which she has done masterfully, then through the Y chute here. The cattle are being really well behaved today in general. Most of the problems we've had have probably, it's safe to say, been dog caused. What we're seeing now is sort of unusual for this trial. The cattle not seeing the obstacle and going through it, they've been pretty willing to turn and go right through, and here they go. Now she's got to go around both barrels. Almost looks like these cattle aren't sure they have to listen to this dog. There they go. Now she scored on the first barrel. Some of us, including my run, have had trouble here at this point keeping them from going between the barrels instead of around the barrel. Here they go. Now she's got to get them in the weave, and they seem to be heading right for it. Ooh. Sometimes this can be a problem when they, oh, she got them turned, so it isn't going to be a problem. Now they'll walk right in. There they go. Through the weave. Now Diane can leave the handler's box and help get them into this pen. She's got to get them all in, and then she's going to do a sort. And we haven't been caring. We don't care whether they sort, how they sort, just so long as they get a 2-1 split in either direction. Most of the handlers have been coming along the side as she is and letting a calf out this end closest to us and then turning the others back. That looks like that's what she's going to do. Looks like the Shar cross calf may be the first one to see the hole. Look, she's got them. They're sorting for her. And I think she's done. There we go.
That was a time of 4 minutes and 21 seconds with a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have John Hullman with Moon. On deck, Michelle Casteline with Lori, and in the hole, Dwayne Packard with Shane.
Our announcer from the stand, who is a intern joining us from Wisconsin, Jordan, whose last name I don't believe I know, is unfortunately mispronouncing Michelle's name. It's Michelle Casteline. They just turned my volume up, said I'm speaking too softly. I'll try to speak more loudly. I'm working here with Sydney, who is really hard to work with. She's operating the camera, and I assume doing a great job, although they keep the screen hidden from me. John Hullman's from eastern Nebraska. Yesterday we had the handler's box at the other side, but we decided that they were too heavy to that exhaust. Now he's got to daylight them all the way back past here. He didn't do that. I'm hoping that according to what we said at the handlers meeting, he can't do that. Had a bit of a judge's mistake then on that first obstacle. John came in the wrong way, and the judge didn't force him to get all the way to the clear line before he retried it. So they're going to send those cattle out, and I guess they'll bring him in some more and start it over. So bringing him some more cattle, he's going to start over. It's cool enough out here today. It's certainly not hard on the dog to do a little extra. Dwayne Packard is our judge today, doing a really good job. And I understand her confusion, since that was a change we made during the handlers meeting where we changed the daylight line. And she hasn't needed to, nobody's come in that way up until now. And it looks like they won't come in that way with this group. Oops, unless he... The obstacle they're going around doesn't matter how they go around as at this point. They just have to go around the sword obstacle. And they've basically right now just entered that obstacle. Now they're going to come out and score. Okay, he's between the blue barrel and the sword. Scored there. Now he's got to just fill this Y chute. I think he's in just the right place to do it. John, of course, is in this long-time handler, trainer. Dog's a little more aggressive perhaps than it needs to be. I think with these cattle sometimes patience is a virtue. Although they don't seem to be wanting to go through, do they? Now I think he's got him positioned, they'll go through. There they go. It's a beautiful day today in Denver. Sadly, we're sitting in the shade, so it's still pretty cool. Out in the ring, it's comfortable. Cattle are certainly staying together nicely. That makes this much easier. Scored on the first barrel. Did a good job of stopping him from coming back. Score on the second barrel in a minute here. He's into the barrel box, we call it. The barrels actually form corners of boxes that go to the back and side panels. Scores on that one. Now he's got to stop this guy who really badly wants to go back to the exhaust gate. Yesterday was kind of an interesting day. In the morning, the cows were really good. It was warm and the wind was calm, and then the wind came up and the temperature dropped, and the cows got really hard to handle. We had just about half the runs were complete runs yesterday, and I think virtually all of them were in the first half of the day. Okay, he's got to work them back up and go through that weave. Okay, I've been told I'm not speaking loudly enough still. I'll try again. John's now working these back up to go through the weave. All right, into the pen. You score twice at this obstacle, once when you put them in and once when you let them out. So, and the time stops when the last tail is out of the obstacle. So John's gonna finish now.
That was a time of 6 minutes and 40 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Michelle Casteline with Lori. On deck, Dwayne Packard with Shane. And in the hole, Jeff Meyers with Luke.
So here comes Michelle Casteline. She's from Wyoming. And her dog Lori. Michelle's been doing the announcing here. Probably much more enjoyable to listen to than I, so I'm hoping I can get her to come back as soon as she's finished running.
If you wouldn't mind, that would be great. I forgot mine today. Thank you.
Michelle's around the short obstacle. Now she's got to bring him between the short obstacle and the barrel. Headed right for the Y. Oops. Oops. Now that one was certainly going to go through and then decided not to. Ooh. Now the worry is that those other two ahead of her will pull him out. The dog can't decide who to walk up on. Oops, 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 oops. Michelle's giving him walk-up commands. Or her walk-up commands, sorry. Finally, she was a little more aggressive than she probably needed to be. She certainly got it out of there. Now she's got them back grouped together and just needs them to see the obstacle again. There at last, through the Y chute. Careful. Just got them past the barrel. Now just get them around it. They're in the barrel box right now. Now they're out of it and they've scored. One more barrel. Past the second barrel now and then looking at the weave. Through the weave now into the, she's left the handler's box as she can and going to work these cattle into the sword obstacle. Handler can help at this point. It's a team effort. Little trouble loading. These cattle have been difficult to load into obstacles, which has been unusual for the cattle. When we worked them to get them ready for this, we put them through obstacles and into a pen, quite a bit smaller than this one. In the pen, she scored those 15 points. It's 5 points ahead per obstacle. Now all she's got to do is kick the other two out. Sometimes it helps to pull that other one around, just like it's going, and it'll help pull those other ones right out. And she's done. Another complete score.
That was a time of 6 minutes and 43 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Dwayne Packard with Shane. On deck, Jeff Meyers with Luke. And in the hole, Sarah Jo Gam with J.C. Digger.
Okay, we got Dwayne Packard back in the ring. This is his second dog. He started us out this morning. Had a tough time with Rev, but here he's bringing in, who is he bringing in? He's bringing in Shane. And I'm sure he's expecting a better run out of Shane. I'm a little biased because I breed Charolais cattle, and it looks like he's got a Char Cross calf up there. Unfortunately, most handlers don't like it when they get Char Cross calves, but I'm confident this one will work well for Dwayne. And here they come. Got him stopped nicely. Let's see if we can make him come between that the sword obstacle and the barrel. And here they come. If they can keep moving at this pace and hit the obstacles, he's going to have a really fast time. Oops. Uh-oh. The Charolais one seems to have a mind of its own. It's a Char Cross. It's not a purebred Charolais. You can tell that because it doesn't have a pink nose. But he got him. There they go, around the first barrel. They're moving kind of slowly, but often they say in this business, slow is fast. Once they start running, they're a lot harder to control. Ooh, I thought he had him then, but they didn't think so. There they go. Okay, now Dwayne can leave again to handler's box and help out. Oh, Dwayne's on the opposite side of where most handlers have been at this point. Dwayne handles a lot of cattle. There you go. Charolais in.
You like the Charolais, huh?
I breed Charolais. the Charlie's now causing him some trouble. I guess the Charlie feels, I waited in there for a long time, I'm tired of it. I'm not sure that heel bite helped things. There they go. All three in the pen. Dwayne better hurry just a little bit. Nope, they've decided to wait for him. And there we go, another full score run. Dwayne Packard and Shane.
That was a time of 5 minutes and 32 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Jeff Meyers with Luke. On deck, Joe Gam with JC Digger. And in the hole, John Hullman with Eli.
Poor Sydney up here is getting kind of cold. She's doing a nice job of videoing, but it's a tough job to be here all day in the shade when it's kind of cold. Jeff comes from us from Colorado. He's up in the mountains. I'm not exactly sure that I remember what town he's from, but it's up there in the mountains. And he has 3 dogs with us in this class today. This one is Luke. And Luke is off. He's going all the way around the Y shoot, which doesn't matter which way you go around the Y shoot. Now he's scored around now he has scored around this sword obstacle. Now he's got to get him between the barrel and the sword obstacle. Got that done. Now let's bring him to the Y shoot. He's having a really nice run so far. And it looks like they see the Y. Ooh, I thought they saw the Y shoot. Ooh, this could be a little problem. Okay, at least he's got them back together. But they're jogging a bit now. Ooh. Well, Luke's already got 2 of them in the pen. Not that that's going to help him any at this point. It'll probably hurt him a little. Especially since that one doesn't seem to want to come out of the pen. There it comes. All right, now we're in business. Back to the Y shoot. Huh. There they. Oops. He's got him right where he wants him now. And there they go. Uh-oh. Doesn't particularly want him to turn back that way. But in terms of being easy to do, if they're going to turn one way coming out of that Y chute, the way they turned is a little better because he can just push them up along the side and get them around that barrel. Uh-oh. Again, these barrel obstacles are boxes, so they've got to enter on a side that's not where they're entering now. That's not the entrance to the box. But now they've come out again, so all he has to do is push them back across the side that's parallel to the back line, back of the arena. That's where they have to enter, and then they score on the line that's perpendicular to the arena. And it's the opposite for the other barrel. Doesn't matter what they do with obstacles. They're finished in the dog trialing world when the obstacles completed basically disappears for the cattle. Handlers still aren't allowed to walk through them, but for the cattle, the obstacle's not there anymore. And here it's just being a hindrance to making this, giving Luke a chance to work them. Unfortunately for Jeff and Luke, this group isn't sticking together really well. I got that one that wants to leave. Running the cattle back and forth like this is usually a problem. Usually the cattle get tired of this and stop being cooperative. And I think Jeff's and Luke are about at that point with these cattle. This is our third year in this location at the National Western. And in another year, I guess, there's going to be a giant building to our south side where all the livestock events will be and probably greatly increase our attendance crowd-wise. Denver has historically been a very popular trial with the crowds, in large part because we were previously, where the arena was sort of on a walkway where lots of people went by and lots of people stopped to watch for a while. There he goes. He's finally got that first barrel. He better hurry. Oh, he's got to bring him back a little bit now. hasn't gotten the ball yet. And unfortunately, today, it pretty much takes, well, it will take a full score to win. We've got a whole bunch of full scores and two really fast times in the 3-minute range. Now he's got them out of the box now, so he can just push them back into the box and then down, and they'll score. Jeff has run out of time. So we'll see what they give him for a score.
That was a time of 8 minutes with a total score of 60 points. Up next, we have Sarah Joe Gam with J.C. Digger. On deck, John Hullman with Eli, and in the hole, Kent Herbal with Sage.
So coming to the post now, we have Sarah Joe Gam, J.C. Digger. She does really well with him. Sarah Joe joins us all the way from Western Washington State, where she is a retired physician, actually an ER doc. So she's now devoting a lot more time and effort into working her dogs, and it shows. She won the trial yesterday with one of her dogs, and with Mint, her dog Mint, XP Mint, and her fourth place dog, she had her fourth place dog as well with Molly. So she had a great day yesterday, and let's see how she does today. And good news, I'm about to turn you over to Michelle Casteline, who I'm sure is much more pleasant to listen to than I, and she will take us from here. Thank you all for being with us.
She's got all of her pin points. So now she just has to finish off with the split. 2 and 1. Doesn't matter which way we go. They're hung up in a corner. You guys can't really see it, but there is a panel that runs right there where the cows were hanging out. So they were hanging out in that corner. Just having a hard time getting this one cow out because he wants to follow the other one. So working on this other cow. Now it finds opening.
That was a time of 3 minutes and 52 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have John Hullman with Eli. On deck, Kent Herbal with Sage, and in the hole, Cappy Puit with Osage.
I'm happy that Bob came on and told us who took first. And still haven't gotten the rest of the scores, but it's nice to know that she did take first yesterday, and I'm not sure which with dog. Thinking Bob may have said that. And his last run, he had to start over, get some clarification on the first obstacle. He asked the judge if it was clear, and he was not, so they went ahead and just gave him a rerun. So if Bob didn't understand what was going on, that was what's happening. The judge said clear, and then she made the mistake, forgot that they had to go around the pin. So couldn't daylight. They had to go all the way around. So that was a mistake, but he got a rerun, finished off strong. Now for his other dog, I believe this is his last dog. Starting off very well. First and second are complete. Looks like they are going to line up. Oh, that one black cow is going to go around. So he has the option to keep those two and keep going or start over. He is choosing to start over. So for the third obstacle, he starts back at 0. It's one cow through an obstacle to move on, and you can retry as many times as you would like. And the dog unfortunately stopped that black cow from coming through, so he's got to send his dog again. Now, if this black cow does not mingle with the red ones, then he can just push the black one, but unfortunately, it's not the best obstacle for this dog. It's not working out for him, so he's got to restart all over. He's going to start over, and it's going to be 0 points on obstacle 3s. Now he just needs to stop the dog, and he does. So get the dog to walk up. So the dog wants to cut the cows off again. So there he goes. Now he scored on all 3. Next obstacle is the dark blue barrel and the fence. So he's just got to get the cattle headed that direction. Now these 2 barrels are 2 different obstacles. So he scored on that one. And Oh, that cow scored on that obstacle, and he's going to go ahead and wait right there at the fetching panel. So he's going to get his dog to go back and get the other ones. And they will not score on that light blue barrel. So we'll see if he decides to redo that obstacle or just take the one head and move on. Looks as if John is just going to go ahead and start over on the 5th obstacle. Looks like he was turning the cows to head back to the 5th obstacle. So he did get one cow to score, but he wants all 3 of them. So he's going to go ahead and do that obstacle again. Like we've seen in some of these runs, these cows do really good if the dog stays off of them. And sometimes when the dogs get a little too close, the cows just want to stand there and face the dog. So having your dog play off a little bit from the cattle, backing off a little bit, giving it some room just to turn slowly and move away from the dog. Like this dog right here, this dog and this cattle are having a little bit of a face-off. Once that dog backed off from that red cow, he looked away, had some other interest of everything. So, but if that doesn't work, the dog has to go in for a little bit of a bite. Just let the cow know to turn and move, which as you can see is okay as long as the dog isn't constantly biting at the face or hanging on. So all 3 of them went through that 5th obstacle. Now they're on to the 6th obstacle, which is the weave, and it looks like this cattle are smoothly going to go through this. Once the cows get through the weave, all 3 of them exiting the weave, then he can move around and help his dog or not help his dog, however he wants to play it out. Sometimes the cows are not reacting to the handler and only to the dog. So you being there isn't going to matter much. And some of these cows are playing off of the handler, so it's just luck of the draw. Cows are facing the right direction inside the pin. They get their pin points. John has done the 2. Now he just got to get his dog to walk up on that 1, turn it around. Once the cow's tail is out, time stops.
That was a time of 6 minutes and 39 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Kent Herbal with Sage. On deck, Cappy Puit with Osage. And in the hole, Jeff Meyers with Jean.
This will be Kent's last dog. And for those who have just joined us, as the course goes on, I will explain on where the cows are supposed to go, or if the cows are going the right direction, I will let you know. It's hard to explain stuff prior to or try to do it ahead and get kind of lost. So I'll just do it as we go. He goes ahead and waves for his cows to come out. And the first obstacle is around the pen. So they have to go between the pen and the fence. All three of them are headed the right direction. Nice little trot they go at. So the first point line is right there. So all three of them point the right direction. So first obstacle is complete. Kent can move about in his little square over there. So the handler's post is between the blue barrel and that little corner there. Second obstacle is completed. So the second obstacle was the blue barrel and the pin. The cows have to go across or between those two for the second obstacle. Third obstacle is the white chute. Cows are nicely trotting through that. No problems there. Fourth obstacle is the dark blue barrel and the fence. They must enter on this side of the barrel. And the cattle and dog must know that I'm trying to explain the course to you guys because they are doing an excellent job of getting through it. So they entered on this side and they're exiting on that side. Now the next obstacle is the light blue barrel. They have to enter on this side, exit on that side, just like that. The next obstacle is the, I do apologize, oh, there we go. All right, that one cow tried to make a run for it and the dog had great success on stopping. Got them regrouped and moving on. So next is the weave. Cows are grouped. Dog's going to get behind them and go through the weave. So the next obstacle is the weave. All three cows have entered the weave. Once the last cow exits the weave, Kent can move about, help the dog as much as he wants or at least as he wants. Just depends on how the cattle will handle the handler and how the dog works with Kent helping. So it's a lot to take in when you're trying to get these cows inside a pen, corral, alleyway. He's got to enter on that side just like that cow did right there. We got a lead cow going in. Kent's going to try to stop that cow from just walking all the way straight through, which unfortunately it looks like that cow is going to walk all the way through. So he's got to gather them all back up and re-enter them. I'm going to try it again. He's got plenty of time. The cows are not worked up, so the dog and the cows and the handler seem to be doing great out there. So everybody's staying calm. That one cow already knows where to go, so he's just trying to get his buddies to get back together. Let him know where that hole is in this pen. Everybody. There we are. Oh no, that one decided to go the other way, so we got to start over because these cows are gonna, oh, looks like nobody came out yet, so unfortunately he's gonna have to start over with his pin. Kent and Sage are not having much luck with the last two obstacles. All three of them are gathered up. This time Kent's going to play off of this side and let the dog handle that side. Seems like the cattle are responding better to the dog anyway, so Kent decided to switch sides, see if he can have any success with that. Working any kind of livestock, you can start off with a game plan, but you know that that game plan will change at any moment. The weather today is a lot nicer than it was yesterday. All right. Now when the dog starts to get tired, they start to cut in a little close. And that's what this dog seems to be doing. He's just getting tired of going in a circle. So he's cutting in a little close, which is causing the cattle to break up, not stay together. Now, if we can just hold this one cow inside this pen, there we are. That plan worked out great. Now he's got his pin points. So now what he has to do is a split, 2 and 1. So he's got to get 2 out. Sorry, he just got the 1 out and then he stopped him. And the dog just got confused on what his handler wants him to do. So couldn't figure out what his handler wanted him to do, and now he got it figured out. Game plan is complete.
That was a time of 7 minutes and 9 seconds for a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Cappy Puit with Osage. On deck, Jeff Meyers with Jean, and in the hole, Becky Combes with Kate.
This is Cappy's second dog. A big thank you to him for helping with putting on the trial. Help setting up the course, being here the first day. Well, he was here Wednesday, getting everything set up, here every morning, the last one to leave. So if you know Cappy or see Cappy around, thank him for handling all this for us so we can have a great day. Great trial. 4 days. So Cappy chose, oh, there, the dog took the wrong command, so he had to bring his dog back and start over. Nothing wrong with that. Get his dog regrouped. Got his dog sent, and they're done with the first obstacle. Second obstacle is complete. Cappy helped his dog out by watching that far side so the cows didn't get stuck down in the corner. Cappy's trying to help his dog out by doing some jumping jacks, waving the arms. See if the cows will respond to him and just slowly walk through. Like we've seen in the past runs, sometimes the dogs get just too close and the cows want to turn and see what's going on. Backing your dog off just a little bit could help, but if anybody saw my run, you know it's easier to sit up here and say that. You don't really think about it when you're down there just wanting to get the cows to move forward. It gets frustrating for everybody when they just won't move. So there we are. The dog handled itself, stayed calm, stood its ground, and now it's moving on. 8 obstacles, 8 minutes. Everybody, majority, I do apologize, majority of the handlers today have finished, and the ones that didn't finish came very, very close. And so it's been a really nice day to watch. Successful for the hens and dogs. Weather's been nice. We got the one red cow that's not even paying attention to the rest of the group. Oh, there we are. Now we're grouping them back up. They have to go on this side of the dark blue barrel. So we're currently on the 4th obstacle. So he just needs to enter this side of the barrel and exit on between the barrel and the fence on the other side. So we have entered this obstacle. And now we are crossing the score line. So now they have scored at the 4th obstacle. The 5th obstacle is the light blue barrel. It's basically just a straight cross, and they'll score, but this is 2 different obstacles. All right, now we have scored on the 5th obstacle, and they went ahead and blew past the weave. So he's going to gather them back up and send them towards the weave. I want to thank all the volunteers, the gal that is back here doing the camera. They all volunteer for this, and they're doing a great job, and they keep coming back. So if you see anybody with a volunteer on their jacket or their badge, give them a big thank you, because if they're not running this, helping us with this dog trial, they're doing other stuff around that without our volunteers, this wouldn't be going on. The stock show definitely would not be happening without our volunteers. So make sure if you see a volunteer, thank them. We're going to go ahead and back our way to the entrance of the weave. So and we found the entrance of the weave, so now you just got to turn them and face them that direction. But where the cows are standing, that is the entrance to the weave. So, 2 of them went in. Now Cappy can go ahead and take those 2 and move on, or he can turn that one cow back around and he can join his buddies. That's what that cow's going to do. He's just going to join his buddies. So now we're in the weave. Nice little heel bite just to let them know that we're at a time event and they need to get moving. Now Cappy can help his dog with the next 2 obstacles. They have to enter in the pin. And the entrance to this pin is on the side of the blue barrel. So he's got to enter on that side. Now, as you can see, Cappy sent his dog way out because Cappy had him walking on that fence line around really smooth. So he had his dog get out so that the cows weren't disturbed by it. But for some reason, that cow decided to turn. So now Cappy's got to regather them, start over with a new plan. Looks like the second plan actually is going to work out better. He's got to stop them before they all get out. Very nice. 2 out. Now he's just got to get that red one. The third cow out the backside, so that's a split. And a time. Dog had a little bit of hiccups throughout this one, but the recovery was nice and he finished
That
it.
was a time of 7 minutes and 27 seconds with a full score of 120 points. Up next, we have Jeff Meyers with Jean. On deck, Becky Combes with Kate. And in the hole, Joe Gam with Molly.
It looks like we're going to go ahead and take a few-minute break. They've got to fix something in the back there. So Jeff won't start as back-to-back. Oh, they're going to go ahead and rotate out some of the volunteers, give the ones that have been setting out a little bit of a break. So we're just going to rotate our volunteers. That way they can go get warm. Because it does look on the camera that it is a beautiful day, and it is. The wind is not blowing, so we're happy for that. But it is still a little chilly. And it is hard to stand in one spot for very long, so. Looks like we're going to go ahead and start back up. Jeff is ready to go. Just word of advice, if you ever really want to thank the camera crews or our volunteers, a box of those hand warmers and feet warmers would be good just to donate. You can drop them off anywhere where a volunteer is at, or just right up here at the desk of the camera crew. That would be the best thing you could do for them. This is Jeff's last dog in this open run. He has had, I believe, 3 dogs. So Jeff has run 3 dogs today. This is his 3rd one. You went ahead and waved for him, so he wants to open up the gate. That one cow just tried to take the corner a little too tight, so just slipped and fell, but he's up and running again, so didn't hurt himself. Everybody looks good. Cappy's just going to go ahead and let the cattle travel all by themselves. He moved his dog just a little bit, but everything was running smooth, so he didn't want to ruin it. Which is just fine. As long as you send your dog, you can have them do whatever. They can back off, they can walk forward, whatever you think is best to get those cows through the obstacles. So now the next obstacle is they have to go between the pin and that barrel. So they do have to go in between there to get all points. Jeff can help his dog while they're down there in that corner as long as he stays within his little box. He can't pass that blue barrel, that little imaginary line that we all have there. So we made it through the second obstacle, and then the third obstacle is this Y chute. It just looks as if he's having a hard time getting them all to stay together. Nice little heel bite just to let him know. Unfortunately, this dog just keeps getting on the wrong side of the cows. Keeps wanting to bring them right back to Jeff. All right, now they're going to gather, and he's going to have the dog start over on the third obstacle. Which that cow just slipped. The dog didn't touch it or anything, but he just tried to make too sharp of a turn and just slipped and fell. This dog's going a little fast, and the cows are trying to react to it, and that's why they keep falling. The judge hasn't done it as a harassment. It's just the dog's just going fast, and the cows are just trying to move away from the dog. So there we are. Now we're going back to regrouping the way we want to be, and he's just going to blow past it again. If I remember correctly, I believe this dog had a hard time yesterday with a similar obstacle. It was the X, and today it is the Y chute that they can't just get facing the right direction. And when the dogs get to moving too fast, it confuses the cows, And this is the end result. The cows just run around and the dogs either overflanking, moving too fast. So Jeff's trying to get everybody to calm back down, everybody to move around. Well, this is a confusing part for a dog. It's hard always to get the handler to figure out where to go first. So the cow got stuck inside the pen, and he was trying to get his dog, to navigate, to just focus on the one in the pen and not the ones on the outside, which when they're standing like that, it's really difficult. But he got it worked out. And now they're headed the right direction, but they still miss that Y shoot. There. Now we got all three of them through. Now the next obstacle is the fourth one, the dark blue barrel. Looks like as if we scored 2 cows on each obstacle. The third one stayed on the right-hand side of the barrel, so that one didn't count, but we did get 2 of them to go, so he can definitely move on. It's just 1 cow through the obstacle to move on to the next one. And Jeff and his dog aren't having very much luck retrying obstacles, so he's just going to take those 2 cows and move on, which is a wise decision. You want success for the dog. The cows are tired. You're going to be running out of time. So it's definitely a call of the handler on how they want to proceed to the next one. So he's just going to take it and we have the judge is saying that he did not daylight correctly. So on the 4th obstacle, they have to come in between the dark blue barrel and the fence. So they have to come in between there, enter that direction, and exit. So it's like an L pattern. So they come down the wall, but they do have to enter. And from the judge just spoke up and said they did not enter correctly. So he's got to restart the 4th obstacle. So as you can see, they got to enter like that. And then exit. There we are. Now that obstacle is finished. And then the next obstacle is the light blue barrel. So they have to enter from this side, straight across and around the barrels. Looks as if they entered correctly and they exit correctly. And then they're great at the weave. They already know what to do with that. So they knew that was the next obstacle. So they flawlessly make it through there. She got all his points. Actually, it bettered off him because him starting over with those obstacles, he only at the very beginning only had the 10 points for the 4th obstacle and 10 points for the 5th obstacle. But with him starting over like that, he got all 15 points for them obstacle. But he did run out of time. But it was a good recovery. This dog stayed with Jeff, and
That was a time of 8 minutes with a score of 90 points. Up next, we have Becky Combes with Kate. On deck, Sarah Joe Gam with Molly, and in the hole, Dwayne Packard with Jed.
It looks like we have 4 dogs left. So we're down to the last 4. Becky's did place in the top 5 yesterday, and her first run, I believe, is sitting first place. Don't quote me on that. I think she has got a 3-minute time, so either she's sitting in first place or she's in the top 3. So either way, she had a great run the first go around, so we'll see what she can do right now with Kate. Cows are going to come out nicely. All of them are going to stay together, and they know where to go. They're going to go right around the obstacle. She sends her dog. She doesn't do an outrun. She just has them walk up on them. Oh. So now on this obstacle, they didn't go around the pin. She has to bring them back across the daylight. Now the daylight is right there. So as soon as the judge says done, then she can turn the cows around and head the other direction. There, now we've got it. They entered correctly. They got their points. They went over the the point line, so they got their points. Oh, we got one cow that just didn't see the other 2 going. There we are. Now we're all grouped back up. So she didn't. Second obstacle is complete, and now on for the wide. And this dog is not wanting to go underneath any of the panels, so I got inside of there and decided just to take the holes. Did not want to go underneath those panels, which some dogs just don't like ducking underneath. We made it through the Y very nicely. Nice little trot if we keep this up. These cattle and this dog is a nice example of what I was talking about earlier about some of these cows do not like the dog when they're right next to them. They like the dog to be far off because then they just travel away from the dog. When the dog gets too close, they feel a little threatened. Then that's when they stop, square up with the dog. So this right here is a nice example of that. Becky's doing a good job of keeping this dog off so that the cows don't turn and look at her. She's lying the dog down, letting the cows travel away. And when she needs to turn the cows, that's when she rescinds the dog. Now Becky's on her last 2 obstacles with this. As she's got to do is she can help her dog any way she would like, as long as she doesn't walk through the obstacles or put her hands or feet in the obstacle. And they have entered the obstacle, all 3 of them, so now she's got to sort. Very nice. 2 out, so now she's got to get her dog just to travel this cow out of the pen. Very nice, she has done. Good job, Becky and Kate.
That was a time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds with a full score of 120. Up next, Joe Gam with Molly. On deck, Dwayne Packard with Jed. And in the hole, Bob Wagner with Swoop.
Sarah Joe took first place yesterday. I'm not sure what dog. She's got 3 dogs, and she took first place yesterday. So she's had a good day today. She went in and weighed for her cattle. These cows have been really nice to handle today. The weather hasn't been an issue for them. They haven't been hanging out in that corner there from yesterday. They had that favorite corner over there, and today has not been an issue. Bob and Cappy decided, they're the course directors, and they decided that they're just going to put the handler down there so the handler can go ahead and help the dog get him out of that corner so that the cows weren't going to ball up in there today. Another dog that just didn't want to go underneath the panels, which is worked out and everything is fine. And it could be that the panel is just too low, or the dog chose it. It's probably best to go around so he doesn't scare the cows. Right through the Y chute. We got to enter on this side of the barrel. Unfortunately, I am feeling the wind pick up a little bit. I think we have 3 left to go. And unfortunately, that dog went around the barrel and spooked the cows. Now they went to the other end of the arena. So Molly's got to get them back to the other side. Only takes 1 cow to ruin it for everybody. And this poor dog is doing a good job, but the poor dog has got to fight off 1 cow. Nice little heel bite just to get it to go the right direction. We've got a good group of cattle, and none of them has harassed the cows severe that they've been called off. She is working on the 4th obstacle, which is she has to enter on this side of the dark blue barrel. I don't want to keep saying it, but I believe that cow is the cow that is causing the most trouble. Just doesn't want to stay with the group too bad, the other 2. So he's the one I keep thinking just keeps breaking off and trying to make his own path, which is rough on the dog. Molly's getting a little tired out there, but she is not giving up at all. You can just tell she's running out of a little bit of energy. When you're trying to get one cow and it keeps running off and you're going back and forth, the dog does get wore out. So Molly has had her workout today. So they have entered this obstacle correct, and they have crossed the point line. So they currently have scored on the 4th obstacle and moving on the 5th. It's just a straight across and around the light blue barrel. So they've entered this obstacle correct, and now we just have to, and now they have crossed the point line. So they have scored on that obstacle. The next is the weave, and it looks like 2 cows are moving smoothly through the weave. And the 3rd cow has chosen not to go through it, just blew past it. And it looks as if it's Sarah Jo has waved to the judge that she's just going to take those 2 head and move on. Now we just got to get everybody to settle down and focus on that hole in the pin. And they found the hole. And that 1 cow has chosen not to go into the pin. So Sarah Jo is going to start over. They do have to enter on the other end of the pin. They have to enter on the side of the blue barrel. So Sarah Jo is just trying to take some time. Everybody slowly walk up there. That's what she's hoping for. She went back and regrouped everybody. And that worked out for her, slow and steady. Everybody's pinned, and now she just has to do a split. As you can see, Sarah Jo just took 1 extra little step, and she stopped everybody, so she had to give pressure off of the cows so that they would sneak through the hole. So she's just got this 1 cow that needs to go the other direction, and the dog is trying to gather the cows behind. It gets a little confusing for them. Oh, I believe that they may have called time before that cow did exit out, so I think she only got points for the 2. We will see what the judge says.
That was a time of 8 minutes with a total of 100 points. Up next, we have Dwayne Packard with Jed, and on deck, Bob Wagner with Swoop.
All right, so she only did get her pin points on that because she didn't make a full obstacle, wasn't completed at the end. So now we're working on our last 2 dogs. And then after this, and I'm not sure of the timeline, but after this, we will start our nursery. Going to go ahead and let the cows just walk away, and he's going to send his dog. The cows were facing the right direction, so he just chose just to let the cows trot off a little bit before he sent his dog. There, we got him turned to go around the first obstacle. First obstacle complete, and everybody's at a nice little trot. We got the second obstacle complete. Oh no, that one cow decided that he wanted to go just finish it off, get done and over with, and get into the pen. So he's got to come back out. There we are. Now he's headed the right direction. A little over flank of the dog, and the cows blew past the obstacle. Now the one cow went through the obstacle, so he can take that cow and move on, but he chose to restart the obstacle over. Just paid off. He got it all gathered back up, and they he's entered the fourth obstacle. And this dog is fast. So we got another fast dog out here. And just kind of getting the cattle just a little confused on what he wants them to do, because he's overflanking just a little, causing the cows to turn. So the cows are going in circles because this dog is fast and overflanking a little bit, but he's got it back under control, and now they're off to the fifth obstacle. Entered that obstacle correctly and now exit. So now he's going to try to slow them down to get the... Oh, we missed the entry on that. He didn't get him to cut him off in time. So go ahead and just take a few minutes, let the dog lie down, and now he's going to send the dog, get all the cows back together. All right, so now this cow entered the wrong direction, so he's got to pull all the way back out, which he has done. So now he just has to turn the cows back around and re-enter the weave, which is nicely done. Very nice. Now we got all the way through. He's done a really nice job of reading his cattle. He worked around cow. He knows his cows. He's worked around cows. So he knows that he had to send his dog to stop the cows before they got to that fence and hung up. So I'm really wasn't sure. The cows, those two exited before the third one was in. So he's got to start over. And now he just has to get these two cows in. Having to do all work, everything is only difficult sometimes. Trying to figure out what the best solution to do in fast-paced time. Read your cows, find out where your dog is. He doesn't want this cow to come out, So he's going to stop this cow from going in. He wants that cow to call the other cows in. So he wants that cow to be the leader. So he wanted that cow to stay in, which doesn't, so far is working out for him. He's just got to put a little pressure on these cows to get into the pen, and he's going to go ahead and help his dog. And they are in. So he got his pin point, so now he just has to sort 2 and 1. Gave the cows a little heel bite just to show him that he was back there and he wanted them to move forward. He got 2 out and he got the 1 out. So time.
That was a time of 5 minutes and 36 seconds with a full score of 120 points. Up next, Bob Wagner with Swoop.
Bob Wagner will be our last open class handler. Him and Swoop. And if you see Bob the rest of this weekend or down the road, please thank him for putting on this trial. It's 4 days. They came in on Wednesday, helped set this all up. They're here first thing in the morning and the last to leave. And Bob's got a lot on his plate with a lot of volunteers and a lot of people helping him out. This trial's always a success, always fun. Now, if he could just work on the weather, that would be nice. So that'll be something we're going to put in the suggestion box for next year is the weather. Either cold, no wind, or hot with wind. Either way, but we can't have both. So we'll pass that along to Bob. Release the cows. They're out. He's in his dog, and the time's going to start. So these cows are drifting off to the right direction. They seem to be, I just say that, and now his cow's going to change my mind for me. They were headed the right direction, but that one cow decided to turn. So if they do come on this side, like these cows are going to, he has to daylight across the line. So the judge will tell him when he is across the line. Judge just said he's across the line, so he's got to turn his cows and go back the direction. Just as long as they enter on this side between the chute and the fence. Entering on this side. There we are. Now we've entered the right direction. We've crossed the point line, so we've got our 15 points for that. And then the next obstacle is between the blue barrel and the pin. Very nice. Bob can move freely in his little box over there. We put him in the corner, and he can move freely to help out his dog, but he can't step over the line. Ooh, nice stop on that. Cows are going to... There we are. Turned him bird. And through the Y. Oh, we got to turn him again. This dog is really good at turning the cows. We're entering on this side. That's correct. So this is... And they currently have passed the point line. So straight across. We got them through. Now they were on a nice little trot, but they blew past the obstacle. So now he's got to bring them back for the weave. Once again, Bob can help them while they're in that little corner as long as Bob doesn't step over his line. headed towards the weave. That one cow knows that that's where he's supposed to go. There we are. Now he's in the weave. Oh, for some reason the dog decided, there we go. I was going to say the dog's going through the weave before the cows, so he had to pull his dog back. Now Bob can move anywhere he would like to help his dog out. So once the last cow's out of the weave, he can help. So he's going to gather everybody back up. Have him hopefully point to the entry of the pen. And nice, the dog stopped just in time. And they are pinned. As you can tell, Bob is taking too many steps and he keeps stopping that lead cow. So Bob, I think, was trying to watch the back two and overstepped and stopped that one cow, or that cow would have just walked nice through. It's hard to watch everything all at once. One's through, so now he's got to get his dog turned and walk up on the one. Now you guys can't really see, but there is a panel right there. That's why the cattle are hung up in that corner. There is a corner right there. So there we are. All right. Stay tuned. Nursery will be following.
That was a time of 4 minutes and 3 seconds with a full score of 120 points. That will conclude our open run 2.